put it on the list or whether we leave it off the list.
Absolutely, and keep in mind if there are discussions in removing something from the list when we get completely done with the public hearings and we begin to move towards action, I would certainly urge council members to talk with Trevor ahead of time on those. We are already in discussions with Transportation Committee members in Olympia on additional funding for highway improvements that could be enacted even into this next legislature coming up. If you remove items from here that would be eligible from them, they no longer are. And that's funding that isn't in place today, but funding that they believe that they have the support for to begin bringing things down. 2 members of that committee brought to our attention phase 2 of Highway 14 because they were hit so hard with phase 1. Mm-hmm. And they made a commitment to do as diligent of a job as they could getting to phase 2 of that highway stretch itself. So, certainly in regards to roundabouts, no roundabouts, how is it designed, any of those portions, I think all of us saw over and over how many changes the current phase 1 that's about to take off went through on Highway 14. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say anything's locked in at this point. I would say that the best estimate so far is the feasibility from a funding standpoint is for those roundabouts that were agreed to by so many different groups in there, but that was also recognizing that they only had a set amount of money to deal with in that particular funding cycle. They're about to enter another 6-year funding cycle, so that could change things completely. I think the most important thing to keep in mind on any of these projects is, one, the pure safety aspect that they have for any of our motorists, pedestrians, whether they be residents, whether they be visitors to the community, in trying to take those areas in the city that have significant deficiencies today and to come up with creative ways, designs, and funding mechanisms in order to make them safer for everyone. So that's the heart of what this transportation improvement program gets to. Trevor could certainly, through a number of different means, put 20 more projects onto each one of these lists, and all of them would be worthy projects in there. The reality is that we have certain ones that have proven themselves both through comment and through actual demonstrated history on the roadways of being problems, and that's how they get ranked in there. So, okay, we'll continue this on August 2nd. We will have the second public hearing, followed by council discussion after that point. Agenda Bill 110-10, Washington State Department of Licensing partnership with the City of Washougal for city business licenses. Mr. Stevenson.
Yes, thank you. Well, the Washington State Department of Licensing Master Licensing Service is in the City of Washougal are looking to work in a partnership. MLS will act as the city's agent for business licensing and ensure that the city retains its full lawful and regulatory and approval authority over all business licensing activities within our jurisdiction. The recommended action tonight is to authorize the mayor to sign the interlocal agreement.
Thank you. Council questions, comments?
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the interlocal agreement.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Motion carries. Agenda Bill 111-10, Personnel Policies, Chapter 9, Other Leaves of Absence. Ms. Cefalo.
Yes, thank you. Council members, in front of you is a revised document. I received some feedback from Mr. Delavar, a couple of typos, and some confusing language in 9.10. So I've amended that, and that is in front of you this evening. Summary statement, amend Chapter 9 of our personnel policies as follows. Update 9.03, military leaves of absence to reflect the current statutory requirements. 9.04, leave for spouse of military personnel as required by statute. 9.01, domestic violence, sexual assault as required by statute. And 9.10, family care, use of accrued leave to care for a sick family member as required by statute. The recommended action is to read the resolution by title only, pass and post in the usual manner.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I ask unanimous consent that we read the resolution by title only.
Hearing no objection, so ordered.
A resolution adopting amendments to the local government employee other leaves of absence policy and authorizing its inclusion in the City of Washougal Personnel Policy Manual.
Mr. Mayor, I move we pass and post in the usual manner.
Second?
We've got a motion and a second to pass and post the resolution in the usual manner. Any council discussion? Dave?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A question for the staff on this. Are rates of vacation accrual being approved by this action, or are they going to be in the next agenda item?
Oh, the item that was pulled for this evening? That,
Is that the one that was pulled?
no, this one just discusses statutory requirements as it relates to leaves of absence.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got it. Thank you.
Other council?
Mr. Mayor?
Michael?
Tonight I will be voting no against this change, and only for one reason. By the way, I do support all of the changes, and I'm glad that the changes have been made, and thank you for that. But it's about 9.04, and leave for spouses of military personnel. And this may seem like a really nuanced, nitpicky thing, but my conscience won't let me vote for it because of the first sentence. And it states, during a period of military conflict declared by the President or Congress, an employee, blah, 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 blah. My point is that the President does not have the authority to declare a military conflict as per the U.S. Constitution. Only Congress has the authority in Article 1, Section 8 to declare war. And as such, I've got a suspicion that that language was included because of probably cut and paste from some law, either state or federal. I'm guessing that's why it's in there. Is that roughly correct?
I have to confess, I'm not an expert on this, but I'm happy to go back and research it for you.
Okay. My objection to this is simply one that we hear a lot of talk in politics these days recently about whether Congress is doing things or the government is doing things constitutionally or not. This is one that I think is very, very clear, certainly is clear to me. The only thing that the President can do with the military without the Congress's direct approval specifically is repel invaders during the case of imminent invasion. He can do that without an act of war. Other than that, traditionally speaking, it should be under a declaration of war. That's my objection, and I'm glad to see that it's going to pass with the updates, but for me, that's why I'll be voting no.
Do I have a different copy than you've got?
9.04?
Oh, says that. Does say that.
Okay. I guess I just keyed into the part of the phrase that, or the sentence that has in there by President or Congress.
Right. That's the point, is by President.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because.
Okay, other comments from council? David?
I would ask my learned colleague there, does not the War Powers Act authorize the President to act for a period, to commit U.S. forces to hostilities for a period of 60 days pending approval by Congress? And would that not qualify as the President making such a declaration?
My understanding is that the War Powers Act itself, under a strict interpretation of the Constitution, would be unconstitutional, and it would be an abdication of Congress's power to declare war. That would be my purpose for saying that, but that's a very valid point.